Hi, everyone. Welcome to your first video for your Empowered Yoga Challenge. I'm Olivia Mead. I am the founder and CEO of Yoga for First Responders, and we are so thrilled to partner with our friends at 91 Wonder Women, all of you, to bring you this yoga challenge. You will have 5 videos that are going to be dropping today and the next 4 days, and your challenge is to complete all these videos in 7 days. They're going to be super simple, super accessible, and super effective. All right, so today is day 1. Today, we're going to break down what is yoga and why are we asking you to do it. Okay, so here we are, yoga. Maybe some of you have taken yoga before, maybe some of you haven't, but I bet you a lot of you have an idea, whether you have experienced yoga or haven't, what it's for. And I bet you a lot of those ideas come from the Western marketing and branding of yoga, such as this. When you Google yoga, this is typically what you're going to see. You're going to see thin, white women that are flexible and doing these poses on the beach with a sunset. And even if it's an unconscious thought, you might be thinking, that's not me. I can't do that. And I do not have a beach or a sunset readily available to me. I'm working, and I'm working in intense situations. And this makes people believe that yoga, the purpose of practicing it, are for the reasons to stretch, to get more flexible, and to relax. So I want to talk about these 2 common misconceptions right off the bat so that you know exactly why we're doing the training that we're doing over the next 4 days after today. So first, let's talk about stretching. Stretching typically feels and means that you are pushing or pulling the body and the muscles. When in fact, when you do that, it actually makes the body tighten up even more because the body feels like it's under threat. It feels like it's being attacked. And if you see someone trying to reach for their toes at the gym every single day for 6 months, like they've been told, they've typically not made a lot of progress. That's because they are not truly targeting the source of their immobility. The source of immobility comes from stress being stored in the fascia, the connective tissue, and the joints. Fascia is in and around the muscles, and we always have the joints and the tendons and the ligaments attached to our muscles, which is making you feel as if the muscle is tight, when it's truly the fascia and the other connective tissues along with the joints. So what we have to do is target the stress hormones that are in the body, process them out of the body. And if you're looking for the physical benefit of mobility, then you will find it. You will find that functional mobility. Stress can be a mental stress that you're experiencing, an emotional stress, and even a physical stress. Sitting for long periods of time creates stress on your body. The job that you have to do creates a mental and emotional stress. And unless those stress hormones are processed, they will sit and make a home in your connective tissue and joints. And then you start to feel stiff, you start to get backaches, and you think that stretching is the key. What I'm here to teach you is how to process those stress hormones. You will feel better physically, yes, but also it'll have a neurological effect on your brain, on your chemistry, on your biology. It's going to make you feel better on the inside, work better, and have a better life outside of work as well. This is different than relaxation. So a lot of people then assume that we are working to relax and zen out with yoga. But I don't need to teach you how to relax. You already know how to relax. Most of us do. After work, what do we do to relax? We turn on the TV, we pour a glass of wine, and we get that sweet temporary relief. Same thing happening when we go on vacation or we get a massage. The problem with these temporary coping mechanisms that make us feel relaxed is that they're just that, only temporary, and all of them rely on an outside source to affect your system. And most of those things you can't do while you're at work. So I don't want to give you just another temporary coping mechanism that you have to add to the schedule of your day when it's already full. I want to teach you something else, and that is this: how to regulate. With relaxation, temporary coping mechanisms, you're just covering up the stress. So yes, you might feel free, calm, free from anxiety, zenned out, but here's the problem. Your systems are shut down and off. You're coping and covering up stress. And when you have to go back on, the stress is there. Yoga is doing something different. It's doing neuroplastic healing, actually healing and making the nervous system stronger than it was before. We are doing this by activating the nervous system and teaching you how to be in nervous system activation and how to work with your high stress, and then how to regulate from that afterwards. So even when your systems are on, you're still able to be in control. We are processing stress. We are not simply just covering it up. So if we're not here to teach you how to stretch or be more flexible, and if we're not here to do these videos so we can relax more, what are we doing? What is the original purpose of yoga? The original purpose of yoga is to train mastery over your mind and optimal functioning of your entire psychophysiological system. And what does that mean? It means that you have the ability, it's like a skill set that you have to process stress. And by processing stress, you're building the mental and physical resilience you need for the future stress that's coming in. What does that mean? It means that you are creating a proactive preparedness for long-term survivability for your job. And that's what we're here to do. And when you train in yoga for the purposes of creating this proactive preparedness and long-term survivability, what are some of the benefits that you can expect? You can expect to have a better ability to self-regulate your own system. You'll have an enhanced self-awareness and situational awareness, better verbal expression and problem solving because we're working on the prefrontal cortex, enhanced fine motor skills and proprioception while under stress, increased physical strength and mobility. So yes, the physical benefits are there. Access to effective sleep and recovery, ability to perform well and under pressure, again, going back to strengthening the prefrontal cortex, decreased impulse variability, more accurate gut responses, controlled mindful responses, less injuries, increased emotional adaptability in rapidly changing circumstances, depending on who you're talking to. Am I talking to the patrol officer, or am I talking to the person who called in? Your oxygen is used more effectively, and you have a more of an access to the flow state. The flow state is where your brain is when you're performing optimally. These are all the benefits of yoga. So can you see why that we are so excited to share these yoga videos with you? We are ready to give you this tool. I want to ask you something about your job. And I asked this to dispatchers on the Dare to Be Great conference a couple years ago. And the question is this: how much of your job would you say is mental, like percentage wise? Think about that for a second. Maybe put a number to it. Now I want you to ask yourself, how much training did you receive for that aspect of your job? I was able to capture the poll that I took with these dispatchers. And here were the results. As you can see, everyone said 90% or more of their job was mental, but most of them said they got 10% or less training for that aspect of their job. So you see how out of balance that is? What you need the most for your job, you got the least amount of training for. And that is where we come in, okay? Because there is a missing skill set that this poll clearly showed us. And that missing skill set is the ability to process stress, build resilience, and enhance your performance in the job that you're doing. And because there isn't a skill set, there's an educational gap in this. We have seen in public safety and first responders high rates of stress-related health issues, declining in performance, injuries, post-traumatic stress, and suicide. And so we want to solve this issue. So yoga for first responders and the protocol that we've created is based in traditional yoga for those purposes of mastering the mind and the nervous system. And we've created a protocol for first responders that's a proactive training tool for mental and physical resilience. Pretty different from teaching you how to stretch, right? So let's get a little bit more detailed about what I mean about how these yoga sessions and this challenge that we're giving you is going to be a little bit different than going to your neighborhood yoga studio. So it's going to be based in yoga for first responders protocol, traditional hatha yoga that is job specific and culturally informed for you, dispatchers and 911 operators. It's going to be focused on neurological fitness primarily more than physical fitness. This is a training system for processing stress and building resilience. So there's not going to be any woo-woo. I'm not going to ask you to chant. I'm not even going to ask you to say Om. We're going to take all of those distractions and bells and whistles, put them to the side, and focus on autonomic fitness training. Culturally informed and job specific for the job that you do. From a conceptual idea to a tactical and practical training, and think of this as proactive training, just like you trained proactively for the other aspects of your job. Now I'd like to show you a video. This is a dispatcher in the Colorado area, and this was her experience after she practiced yoga with us for about 3 days.
I'm a dispatcher for Broomfield. How I felt on the first day coming into it, I was really nervous since I've never done yoga before. I didn't know what to expect. And then when we started doing the poses, I was very conscious of making sure I could do everything right. And then at the end of the day, I felt so much better. I didn't feel any stress in my shoulders, which I normally feel a lot of stress. And I felt almost like a different person. My mental message from when I first started was just to try and get through this and see what I think of it. And then at the end now, my mental message is this is something that needs to be brought to first responders, including dispatchers, because it does help and I feel a difference. What I would say to somebody who's hesitant, especially a dispatcher, is just give it a try and see, because you don't know how you're going to react to it. I didn't think I was going to get anything out of it. And now I'm like ready to do more yoga.
Okay, so what to expect in the videos that are coming up. The next video that you are going to get is a 5-minute video about breath work. Breath work is the key, and it is the foundation of what we're doing in yoga. If there is nothing else that you take from your yoga training, let it be the breath work. The day after that, we're going to work on meditation, a 5-minute video that's going to dispel some misconceptions about meditation for you. Then we're going to start putting it together in an actual yoga practice. So we're going to have a 5-minute mobility class. And the last class that you're going to receive is a daily yoga practice, a 15-minute daily yoga practice that incorporates the breath work, the meditation, which we call neurological reset, some physical for your training tool. So that will be your 15-minute training tool to process stress, build resilience, and enhance your performance. What we ask of you is pretty simple. That is to have the attitude and the open mind and the ready to learn, because this is truly elite training. Those I have found doing this work for several years now with first responders is that those who dive into it become elite as people and in their line of work. It does require discipline and commitment. You have to remember to go and get your practice done that day, even though sometimes the couch seems more appealing or scrolling on social media. It is creating proactive preparedness for you never know what you're going to encounter at work. And so you want to make sure that you are in a place to be ready for anything that comes at you, knowing how to process it and making yourself grow into a place of resilience from that stress. By telling other people what you're doing is demonstrating a trust and a leadership. Imagine what you're going to be doing for the generation coming up when they see their fellow dispatchers having a proactive training to make them prepared for the job. Even if you're not a formal leader, this is informal leadership as well. And this leads me to your homework for the next 24 hours. And your homework is to talk to someone about yoga. Someone in person, text, phone call. Have you heard of yoga? Have you ever done yoga? What do you think it means? Because now you know it's not stretching or relaxation. Now you know what it means. And feel free to watch this video again so you really get that wording right. And I invite you to talk to someone to the point that maybe they decide to join you on this 5-day challenge. And I'm going to make it easier for you guys to get all the yoga you need. Yoga for First Responders does have an app. It's called Cyber Academy, and you can find it on the App Store. But I do suggest you actually go to yogaforfirstresponders.org and go to Classes on Demand. And then you can put in this discount code. And the discount code is EMPOWERED, and it's going to give you 30 days absolutely free of our app. There are already free videos on there, but now you have access to all of them. So every day I'm going to assign you a little homework video to do, and you can do them throughout the whole 30 days. You can invite other people to do it. Feel free to give them this discount code as well. But your homework for today is just to see if you can start a conversation about yoga with someone so we can make this practice more normalized and remove any stigma that's keeping our dispatchers, our 911 operators from this super valuable and important tool. All right, guys, that is your video for today. I will see you tomorrow with our first practice, breath work.